So I know that you have been around animals for decades now. What got you into it? Because I read a story online about how you had a kind of life-changing experience that got you involved in animals and adoptions. And I would love to hear that firsthand from you if you could tell me that story.
What happened is I was born in Kentucky, grew up working on a farm, and the one thing I knew I didn't want to be was a farmer. The work was too hard, the pay was too little. So I told my dad right from school I was leaving to go where the money was, and I went to New York. And the fellow that gave me the interview in New York said, "Well, you're from Kentucky, you must like animals." I said, "Okay, this guy's a genius. He saw a picture of a horse on a calendar somewhere and just assumed everybody from Kentucky liked animals." I said, "Animals are okay, but can we get on with this interview?" He said, "How would you like to work for the ASPCA?" I had no idea what he was talking about. I thought he was talking about an IBM or something like that. I didn't know what an ASPCA was. I said, "Tell me about it." He said, "It's a place that takes care of mistreated, neglected, abused, unwanted pets." I said, "Sounds like a nice place, but why are you talking to me about that? I have absolutely no interest in that." He said, "Well, if you can come in, you can do more on financing and stuff like that in the nonprofit world." I said, "Sure, okay." Price was okay. I found out in a very short period of time, Hillary, I couldn't do it. In 7 months, I lost 25 pounds. I could not eat. I could not sleep. I was tormented by what I was witnessing every day. The ASPCA in New York City back then, it's a much different place today. But back then, the ASPCA was killing 140,000 animals a year. There was no discrimination, made no difference. Use 8-week-old puppy, 8-week-old kitten, most magnificent golden retriever, Siamese cat. It made no difference. The holding period back then was 24 hours. If nobody adopted the pet or claimed the pet in 24 hours, they were killed. I couldn't take anymore. Street gangs were torturing animals. I said, "This is not the place for me." So I gave my notice, and I was marking my calendar down till I was 6 days before I was to leave. And they came to me and they said, "Mike, there's a dog hit by a car in Davidson Avenue in the Bronx." I said, "Okay, get a driver out and get it." They said, "That's just it, Mike. There are no drivers available. And this one from the calls is in really bad shape." Hillary, I did just what you would have done or anybody else would have done in my position. I just took off my suit jacket, put on a uniform jacket, and took the ambulance out myself. When I got to Davidson Avenue, this little black and tan terrier shepherd mix just looked just like Benji from the movies. But he was laying in the street. He was bent almost backwards in half. The car that hit him with such force, snapped his back and left him there to die. When I got out of the ambulance and I'm standing above this little one, and he's shaking so badly from fear and pain, just as I'm about to reach down for him, these three fellas came out of the apartment building doorway and said, "What do you think you're doing?" I said, "It's obvious. This little one's dying. I'm taking it to the hospital." They said, "No, you're not taking it anywhere." I said, "Why? Is this your dog?" They said, "No, we're betting on how long it's going to live." I said, "Well, you guys are really sick." So I reached down, I scooped this little one up, and I'm holding him cradled in my arms. And he's shaking so vehemently, I thought he was going to fall. So I just looked down at him, and he was staring into my eyes, just as if he was staring into my soul. And he held me spellbound for those seconds in time. And this is where my life changes. Just as I turned to reach for the ambulance door handle, that's when these three fellas beat me from behind, stabbed me, and laid me in the street. That's when the roles are completely reversed. I'm the one lying dying in the street that day. But that's when I found the compassion that these magnificent pets have for us that we as human beings will never be able to emulate. We do not have that capacity. That little one had one more act of kindness to give mankind, and he blessed me with it. That little one that should not have been able to move by any shape of the imagination found a way to crawl to my side, and he started to lick me back to consciousness. He would not give up on me until I opened my eyes again. And when I opened my eyes, I was staring into those beautiful brown eyes one more time, and I realized what was taking place. I laid in that street and I cried and I prayed, "Don't do it. Don't take my life today. Give me another chance, and I promise you, I'll devote my life to them." Well, seconds, not minutes, but seconds after I made that promise, my friend just gently closed his eyes and he crossed over Rainbow Bridge. And I know he waits for me, so someday we could take that walk together that was meant to be. But from that day to now, I've kept my promise. From that day to now, I have helped facilitate and save more than 20 million orphan pets. I take what I do very seriously. It's not a game. It's not a hobby. I strongly believe that we were put on this magnificent planet to share it with them. I strongly believe that we're supposed to be the compassionate, intelligent beings, and it's our obligation to protect them, not use them, abuse them, and lose them. So I spent my whole life doing this, and I figure I have another few years and a couple more million to go.
I mean, that is an incredible story, Mike. And so tell me what happened after. How long did it take for you to recover, get help and then get back to work?
Well, the people started yelling out the window, and then they got me and took me out by ambulance to Westchester Square Hospital. Well, they sewed up because there was a knife sticking out of my leg, so they sewed that up first. And I couldn't understand when I was getting off the bed why there was so much blood. I thought it was from the bottle hitting me in the head. I went home, they took me home, and then I took off my sweater and I saw that there was a real big slash in my shoulder and go up by my neck. And they missed that, so they took me back to the hospital. The nurse slapped me and said, "Do you feel that?" And I said, "Heck yeah, don't do it again." And she said, "You must have been in shock and your body was reacting to shock, that you didn't feel that you had that cut on you." So, you know what, Hillary? Every day when I shave in the morning and I see those scars, I'm reminded what I'm supposed to be doing. I've never regretted it happening. The detectives, when they came to the hospital, they told me the likelihood of us catching those guys in that neighborhood is minute. And I said, you know what? I really don't care. Today I was given a purpose.